Game 3 up here, and we have Rebuild on the board, right hand corner. On principle, I'm not going to play with Rebuild. You just click Rebuild until the game is over, so not very interesting to me. So I have to find an alternative on the board. There is Gardens and Museum, so maybe you could just stuff your deck with lots of things and get points from Museum as well as Gardens. Seems to be a little bit slow in the face of Rebuild, so we're going with Butcher, and hopefully we can get through the provinces faster than the Rebuild. So to pursue the Butcher plan, we're going to start with Spice Merchant and Forager. Very quick start. I'm looking at Spice Merchant, Forager, pick up 2 tournaments, maybe win Steed first, then get followers, then come back for whatever prizes. As a bonus, the prizes are worth 2 VP, thanks to Museum. And then we can see what the Butcher will push through from there. Once we get to 5, we buy Butcher. Maybe a couple Butchers, honestly. And then we can see what's going on from here. So my opponent has 5 and 2. Excellent pair to start with on this board. Vigra Butcher in a heartbeat. A Spice Merchant Forager is not bad either, honestly. So I'm going to take those two and a tournament, as I mentioned to you. A little bit of economy also I wanted there for the prizes in the future. So my opponent shows me Rebuild on his second 5 here. So, okay, fine, whatever. I am happy to play against that. Silver here, because I wanted a little bit of economy. I have to buy a province at some point, so silver should do well here. And here's a board where I feel like the second Spice Merchant is worth it. We're gonna go fast, trash through, get Butcher. In the end, I could chop and change that Spice Merchant into a tournament, into a gold, into another Butcher, whatever. But really, I feel like I need to go fast, and I can go fast on this board with double Spice Merchant without much penalty thanks to Butcher. So out comes my opponent's Rebuild. He has 2 of them now, something I have to be concerned about. 6. Some people might consider gold there to buy province. I think Butcher is just way better, so I'm going to take the Butcher, even though it's on 6, and proceed from there. Real happy that this card is the second Spice Merchant and not a tournament, as I was originally intending to buy 2 tournaments, but I switched that plan up in the middle of the game, decided to go for the second Spice Merchant, and I've been happy with it so far. Even on this hand, this is fine. I'll just trash the silver. It'll make my Forager worth a little bit more. My opponent now nicks a province out of the pile, so I have to be a little bit watchful. My tournaments may not draw me cards now, which is a little bit sad. The Butchers collide here, not surprising in a thin deck, so I'm going to turn one of them into a gold to buy provinces and pick up a second tournament. So here's the second tournament that I was talking about at the beginning of the game to gain 2 prizes in 1 turn. And now I just have to hope that they don't get blocked by my opponent's single province. So Spice Merchant, he doesn't trigger a shuffle here. And 6 is going to be a 3rd Rebuild for my opponent, so he's looking to go real fast as well. Here, I don't see my tournaments to draw me through till the end of the deck, but I do see enough money to pick up a province. So I consider chopping the gold into the province. Figured it was a bit more valuable to have the gold in the deck. I still need to buy things, so I'll keep the gold. This hand is a little bit sad here, no treasures to trash with the Spice Merchant, but that's not surprising at this point in the game, honestly. I can even feed one of them to the Forager if need be. So a couple provinces out of the pile now for my opponent, and luckily, my tournaments do manage to come through and get me a prize at least. I was hoping for 2, but I managed to get 1. Choose to take the Steed over the followers because my opponent is not threatening to take the followers away from me, so I have time to pick that up later. I turn this Spice Merchant into another tournament I'm considering here, but I wasn't in love with that given that my opponent has 2 provinces in a deck that's becoming thinner because he also has a Spice Merchant. And second gold for me, there's nothing really to do on this board. There's no extra draw outside of Steed and followers, so your options are quite limited. It's just really about golds on Butchers honestly. That's the whole crux of it. So, do manage to get the followers. Hooray, we'll take the followers. Um, Tournament here is going to come through, I believe. I don't expect him to hold on to our province after I've attacked him with the followers. He might, though. He might, but I don't expect that to be the case. And third prize, what is it going to be? Bag of gold, I believe, is decent here, especially with the butcher around. Bag of gold it is. So we're going to top deck our gold. A little bit unfortunate we have to top deck the gold, but oh well. Forager is up to 3 now because I use my Spice Merchant to drill through our gold to move forward into the deck. So that's nice. I could chop these estates that the followers brings in, and I'm going to buy a province here. That's 2 provinces for me, 2 for my opponent. He has a bit of a points lead off of the museum, largely. And actually, after seeing my opponent's turn here, I feel like taking that province was a mistake, because out comes 1 rebuild. Out comes a 2nd rebuild. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So 2 rebuilds come out for my opponent. There's 2 left, and he could easily empty at least one of them. If he didn't flip his rebuild. He may have flipped his rebuild, but the end of the game is very, very close is what I'm saying. And I didn't quite find the trusty steed here, so I play the followers as my final action. Instead of the butcher, I believe. What I am going to do here, I have 5. At the duchy, I'm going to get 1 before all are gone. It's worth, the first one is worth 5 points for me, so I definitely want at least the 1. So out comes my opponent's butcher. So he has both rebuild and butcher in his deck. I have to be, the end of the game could happen any turn now. I have to get a points lead right this turn. And I think I screw up our win here. So after I draw with his followers, I have the butcher. So what I could have done, what may have been our win, is to play bag of gold first, then use tournament, draw into top deck gold, butcher 1 gold into province, and then buy the next province. As it is, I didn't do that. Played a bit too hastily here. Did not see an opportunity to win. My tournament does go through. Like I said, I don't expect him to hold on to provinces on a 3-card hand, but again, he might. So I notice my mistake here, but I am able to still find a line that won't lose for me. In fact, it might win for me, if not this turn, in the future. So I do trash this gold into a province, or at least get a province this turn somehow. Is 1 less province for my opponent again, and the only way he's getting province is through rebuild, which is only plus 3 points for him, whereas this is plus 6 for me. And the next thing that I'm going to do is extend my points lead by picking up a death card. Death card for the ruins. If I get 2 different ruins, that's 6 points. That's an extra province, and I do get the 6 points to put it way out of my opponent's reach with a rebuild, and he just actually ends the game here, perhaps thinking it's futile, or maybe he just named something wrong with the rebuild. So managed to beat rebuild. Woohoo! Always happy to do so. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.